This is a very short video on a more dynamic and diverse relationship tool. This teaches us how to connect, and let's look at what to do there. So first, recall a story in your childhood or recently where there's been a sense of conflict or disconnect, and start by noticing relationship polarities. Looking at the essence of feelings, we're going to notice that pressure and release is really the core of that process. But when we add fear as a feeling, as an emotional state, it turns into something more like exploding and collapsing. They orbit so quickly that we go to extremes in these survival responses. So we're going to create an axis here and recognize that in survival responses we have fight and flight, and we label those places with archetypes of historical and modern titles. For the one who fights, we give them the label of villain or bully, and they are doing something basically of going from a place of discomfort to comfort. And our victim target, the vertical axis, has a victor and hero who likes to fix things as their survival response. And in reaction, we have a Viker bystander who freezes, deer in the headlights. Let's look at the emotional states that start out before we get to those extremes. First, we have frustration and irritation. Those loop. If you interview either of these people, they're going to recognize both emotional states because they're looping so quickly between those two bodies. Frustration is a sense of I want to get bigger, you are not listening to me. Irritation is a sense of wanting to shrink away and get farther away from that person. Concern is a reaction, and then confusion is the counter reaction. Concern is a sense of something's wrong, and confusion is I don't know what's going on. Now we're going to go to a new extreme, which is anger and sadness. Those loop. Anger can be maybe yelling, and sadness is the crying and attempting to leave the room. And we have worry and guilt. Worry is like flipping through a Rolodex and looking for the solution. Guilt is a statement of I've made a mistake. The next level, on our fight side, we have rage, and on our flight side, we have terror. On a global scale, you will notice this in world politics every day. On the vertical axis, we have judgment and shame. Judgment is the all or nothing, off with their head, 20-year sentence, believing that we know what is right and wrong. And shame is the opposite, believing that I am what is wrong and I am the part of the equation that should be changed. In our brain, we're going to notice very quickly what's happening there. In our lizard brain, we are starting to have a survival response that goes into our emotional centers and creates value judgments and decisions that in a short-term way, like seconds or minutes, that can help us survive a scary experience. We might climb or dig down, and we might run left or choose to go right to try and find a sense of safety. Those are in seconds or minutes. When we talk about years, however, in that survival response, we make value judgments of what's wrong and right and make things way too simple. We might say things about people's skin color like black or white, and that can last a lifetime and is only reflecting that we're making things too simple from a survival place. In this, we have a sense of destiny, and notice that in this contract of emotional states and surviving from a place of fear, somebody who feels powerful must have somebody who feels powerless, both perceived by others and themselves. Somebody who needs to feel helpful, whether or not anybody else agrees with them, there's going to be someone else in the room feeling helpless. And so there are agreements in these senses of destiny that cause ripple effects in each other and create a constant state of brokenheartedness and fear. How do we get from this place of a two-dimensional world of fear into a three-dimensional world of connection and growing from that place where we feel broken? Click on the link below to find out more.